This is the Filmway channel. This is the movie Jurassic World Rebirth. A group of mercenaries goes to a tropical island teeming with dinosaurs to take blood samples from giant lizards. But in addition to the revived predators, a creepy mutant created in the laboratory is waiting for them there. The film begins in 2008 on the tropical island of Saint Hubert. There is a research laboratory where resurrected dinosaurs are being studied. Neglect of safety precautions and a Snickers chocolate wrapper leads to an emergency situation, due to which the staff is evacuated. One of the scientists does not have time to get out of the laboratory. Trying to help him, a colleague sees how Distortus Rex appears behind the poor guy's back, the result of the selective work of local geneticists. Similar to a xenomorphic overgrowth, the monster devours the stranded scientist. The story moves forward 17 years. The resurrected dinosaurs could have spread all over the Earth, but the harsh climate forces them to live in a tropical zone near the equator. Some individuals get farther away, like a giant, because of which the A traffic jam has formed in New York. Martin, a pharmaceutical company representative, meets with Zora, an expert in covert operations. He wants to hire a girl for an operation that is not entirely legal, but she refuses for her own reasons. Nevertheless, Martin manages to convince her with the promise of a fee, thanks to which she will no longer have to work. But to be successful, they need a civilian specialist, paleontologist Henry, who is being fired from the museum. Martin explains that their task will be to extract blood samples from 3 giant dinosaurs, a waterfowl, a flying dinosaur, and a walking dinosaur. This will help doctors create medicines that prevent heart disease. The company will make a lot of money, as well as the mercenaries, if they return alive. The girl and the paleontologist agree. The whole of Cahal is flying to Suriname to charter the boat of an old acquaintance of Zora Duncan. There is a security specialist among the crew. Although his name is Bobby, everyone knows that this is Francis. After discussing the details of the difficult case and admiring the jaw of the captured dinosaur, the team continues their journey. The mercenaries are moving towards the island of Saint Hubert for the first specimen, an aquatic mosasaur. On the way, they inspect the equipment syringes for taking blood samples. The latter can not only suck in DNA, but also shoot the capsule up so that it can then descend by parachute. The paleontologist volunteers to shoot dinosaurs with a rifle, but Zora, taking him to our ship, shows that even experienced shooters are lame from this position. At the same time, Ruben Delgado's yacht is hanging around in the same area. The man went on vacation with his daughters Teresa and Isabella, as well as Javier, Teresa's boyfriend. They see the crests of a couple of spinosaurs, and then they come across a mosasaur. The giant, playfully splashing around in search of prey, unobtrusively capsizes the yacht. Javier finds himself trapped in the cabin when the boat capsizes. Ruben tries to save the young man, after which he finds himself on the bottom with his daughters. Javier, thrown back by the mast, floats up and paddles towards them when a mosasaur chases him. The guy barely manages to reach the boat, forcing the lizard to turn away. In the evening, the mercenary ship receives a distress call from the wrecked Delgado family. They are surprised, as swimming is prohibited in the area, but decide to go to the rescue, despite the secrecy of the mission and disagreements on this issue among the crew. After a while, Duncan's boat finds an overturned yacht, and the hapless tourists are hoisted aboard. The task continues. The mercenaries track down the Massasaurus to take a blood sample. During the confrontation, Zora runs at us with a gun, asking Henry to fix her with ropes. The cunning beast dives, raising a wave, causing the girl to miss. Then the dinosaur cuts off the ship and Zora falls overboard, but the advance insurance holds up. When Henry picks her up, she smacks the object. After being hit, the syringe fills with blood, shooting upward, and the sailors catch the parachute with the capsule. However, getting to the island is not so easy. Spinosaurs that hunt with the older Mosasaurus surround the boat. Bobby tries to drive the animals away with machine gun shots, but achieves exactly the opposite result. The animals attack him and make prehistoric pieces. After that, the dinosaurs wobble the boat, causing it to roll. Passengers almost fall into the water, which is teeming with hungry predators. Ruben barely manages to save Isabella from the giant teeth. To shake the tailed lizards off his tail, Duncan leads the boat to the coastal reefs, hoping to catch fish there. Fearing that they will crash, Ruben tells Teresi to send a distress signal on the radio. Martin, worried about the success of the mission, asks the girl not to tell anyone their coordinates. An argument between them leads to Teresa falling overboard. The pharmacist is in no hurry to help her, hoping that in this way the conflict will resolve itself. However, as soon as Teresa falls into the water, her boyfriend Javier jumps in after her. Ruben, suspecting something is wrong, leaves the plane with his youngest daughter. The boat is moving towards the rocks when the Massasaurus attacks it, damaging the sides and lapping it against the shore. The crew lands at sea. Only Duncan remains at the helm. Unable to slow down, he and the boat take off for the beach of Saint Hubert. Soon, the rest of the expedition arrives there, along with the cargo. When a Spinosaurus grabs a woman from the crew, the mercenaries realize that this is not Sochi. They are not welcome here, but they have a task that needs to be completed. Zora reminds her upset colleagues about this, also informing them that a helicopter she hired will arrive for them in a day as soon as it lands on the other side of the island. After snacking on the steel cable that protects the beach from the rest of the island, the girl leads the team deep into the jungle. On the way, Zora asks Martin how it happened that Teresa fell overboard, and he didn't even try to help her. The pharmacist denies the vile accusation against him as the group moves through waist-deep water through a swamp. Later, while filling a flask in the river, Martin notices the soldiers' badges in the water. They fell off the pilot, who was stuck in the branches above the helicopter's head. Noticing the pilot's service pistol, Martin carefully takes the weapon. The Delgado family and Javier swim to the shore, where they climb to the island through a grotto. They also go deeper into the wilds, away from the shore. But when they notice a movement in the thicket, they change the direction of the route. Having settled down for the night, the guy volunteers to keep watch. When he goes to get firewood, Isabella sees a small Aqualops dinosaur that came out to people in search of food. The girl feeds him until he goes to sleep next to her. Javier goes to take a leak at this time, not noticing that a couple of velociraptors are hunting him. From the fate of being eaten, the guy is saved by a pterosaur, speculating on hunters who decided to snack on them. In the morning, Zora's group, walking through meter-high reeds, stumbles upon a couple of titanosaurs. Being herbivores, lizards do not pay attention to humans crawling around their feet, especially since they are in the middle of their mating season. Thanks to this, their species has multiplied quite well in the territory. Seizing the moment, Zora pulls out a rifle and extracts the second necessary blood sample. Now all they have to do is get the DNA of the flying Quetzalcoatlus. Delgado, making their way under the jungle, roll down the mountainside, straight to the riverbank. On the other shore, Teresa notices a small pier and an amphibious vehicle. Deciding that there might be something useful inside, the girl wades across the river. On the shore, she sees the bitten corpse of a dinosaur on which a Dilophosaurus is feasting. The lizard attacks the girl, but, frightened of something, runs away. The reason for the fright was a Tyrannosaurus rex dozing in the grass nearby. Trying not to wake the predator, Teresa sneaks into the car, where she finds a backpack with an inflatable boat. Pulling it out, the girl activates the boat, but at that moment, the Tyrannosaurus wakes up. While the lizard is drowsily slurping water as if it celebrated World Extinction Day yesterday, Teresa paddles to the other shore to pick up her family. However, when they set sail, the Tyrannosaurus wonders what's so delicious floating there. The giant gives chase, sinking deeper into the water. Although he is not a waterfowl, but with his size, this is not his problem. Having caught up with the fugitives, he turns the boat over with a blow of his muzzle, causing the people to splash in the river like meatballs in soup. The Tyrannosaurus tries to fish them out of the water, but they cunningly dive, continuing to swim on. When they reach a narrow passage formed by rocks, people realize that the younger Isabella has remained in the water. A girl is swimming under an overturned boat. The Tyrannosaurus, realizing that this is all that remains, grabs the boat with his teeth. Having lost her hiding place, Isabella swims on in time to reach the narrow passage where the head of the predator simply does not fit through. Upset with the best feelings, the lizard leaves, but the people are left with an intact boat. She squeezed into the gorge, and even the stormy current did not carry her away. At this time, Zora's team is climbing to the top of the mountain to rope down from the cliff to the nest of Quetzalcoatlus. While Martin and Duncan are on duty upstairs, the girl, Henry, and the last living member of Duncan's crew come downstairs. After reaching a cave in a rock decorated with traces of an ancient Indian civilization, people find a nest of a flying lizard. Since it is easier to take a DNA sample not from a huge aggressive predator, but from a harmless egg, they effortlessly scoop into a syringe, goo, and folds. In the process, Zora wonders how their mission will help humanity. Henry admits that the pharmaceutical company will simply make a lot of money on the drug, and in order to help all people, they must give samples to those who will not patent the research, making them common property. However, scientific research is interrupted by the return of a disgruntled mother. Even though she's not an unshaven man, the bird still doesn't like that someone is groping her balls without asking. They are forced to dodge the predatory beak while trying to save the capsule with the samples. A well-aimed hammer throw from a crew member distracts the animal but puts the extra at risk. He tries to climb up with the help of Duncan, but Quetzalcoatlus, like Spider-Man, sneaks along the responsible wall after him to eventually devour the poor wretch. At this time, Henry almost falls out of the cave due to the tension of the cable. Zora tries to pull it out, but the man notices a syringe with samples. Trying to reach it, it swings on the cable, causing it to rub against a rock and break off just after the capsule launched upward. The paleontologist falls down, but since he is not some statistician from the boat crew, the trees below soften the fall to an acceptable speed. Next, the sample descends by parachute, and the surviving colleagues who found the ladder from the top to the bottom. At sunset, the Delgado family arrives by boat at the scientific research base, where the mercenaries who have collected the triptych from the necessary samples also reach. Martin says that experiments were conducted here to create mutant dinosaurs. The two groups meet together in the parking lot, where Teresa tells how Martin wanted her to drown. The conversation escalates into a quarrel, but the pharmacist's possession of weapons nullifies the conflict, especially since the man simply suggests that everyone take off together on the promised Zorro and helicopter. The tedious wait for evacuation is hindered by several mutated pterosaurs. Because of their attack, people are forced to split up. The Dalgard family hides in the store. Martin and Zorro climb under the car, and Duncan and Henry find the entrance to the underground bunker. Isabella notices Aqualops, who was following them, and feeds him, while the pterosaur breaks through the roof of the store in search of fresh snacks. The girl hides from the lizard in the refrigerator, covering the glass with her jacket. When her father, thrown by a snack, distracted the predator, she reunites with her family, after which they promptly hide in the sewers. In the bunker, Duncan studies the map of the complex, which helps him find out that there is a boat on the pier. Through the destroyed roof, they see an approaching helicopter, after which Duncan tells the paleontologist to delay the transport until he gathers everyone, not noticing the mutant Distortus Rex wandering outside. Meanwhile, Martin, having emptied the pistol clip of the pterosaur, finds the keys to the Jeep and drives away with the blood samples, leaving the others to watch. Hiding in the bushes, the mercenary sees a pterosaur climbing into the sewer system. Realizing that civilians are hiding there, the girl climbs in after them. Henry signals the pilots on the helipad with the help of warning lights. The helicopter is about to land, but it is suddenly grabbed by Distortus Rex, opening it like a canned food. The scientist runs back to Duncan, who found Delgado in the sewer. They're all hiding in an underground tunnel. Duncan tells about the boat on the pier, after which they move through the tunnels there, and Martin goes there in a jeep. Zora runs into the others in the sewer and shoots at the mutant chasing them, killing him. Then they reach the exit of the tunnel, blocked by a grate. Isabella squeezes through the bars to open the gate from the outside, but then a six-legged Distortus appears. However, the lizard's attention is distracted by Martin's jeep. While the predator is dealing with the pharmaceutical, people are running away to the pier, grabbing a suitcase with samples, all that's left of Martin. The girl runs after him. As people try to launch the boat on a mechanism that has jammed over the years, the distortion catches up with them. Duncan, remembering the first movie, decides to distract the predator with a flare. Waving it, he takes the mutant away, throwing himself into the water. While everyone is boarding and starting the longboat, Zora watches the flames go out in the night. Her last friend sacrificed himself. The survivors in the boat set sail at the moment when Distortus Rex returns to snack on them. The beast growls in frustration, having missed its prey. With a face like that, what else is there to do? It turns out that Duncan survived by escaping from the predator. After taking him away, the survivors head out to sea, away from the dinosaurs and closer to the mainland, accompanied by a flock of dolphins. In the dawnlight, Henry is interested in the pattern and will do something with the resulting blood samples. The girl says that they should be made public so that all people on Earth can receive medicines. This is where the film, unlike the milking of the franchise, ends.